actually 1957. Okay. As a 17-year-old against Argentina. Okay. And based on the basis of that, he was selected for the Brazilian national team for the '58 World Cup.
Was there any controversy, a player that young being selected to represent Brazil?
Well, you know, as they say, Brazil, everybody is a coach in Brazil. So naturally there were criticisms of selecting a 16-year-old, you know, to the Selecao. But, you know, he was selected and wasn't expected to really feature that much. So after the first game, Tostão, Carlos Alberto, Rivelino, some of the old hands went to the coach and basically asked the coach to play Pelé. And it was a revelation when Pelé came on as a 17-year-old. You know, he scored 6 goals in '58, all right? And naturally, in the final, he also scored in the 4-2 victory over Sweden. After that, he set records. He's the youngest person to play in the World Cup and also to score a goal. So there was a lot of expectation. Pelé, actually, that's the year I heard of Pelé, in 1958, all the way in Ghana. All right.
And this is obviously predating the internet and social media, you know. So, but word traveled fast that he was there.
We saw the game weeks after in black and white newsreel. Okay. Yeah. Which was a pleasure to see that. But fast forward to '62, he's become a known commodity. Okay. People wanted to see how good Pelé is. At that time, his club, Santos, the champions of South America, played Benfica, the champions of Europe. And Benfica had the great Eusebio. So Pelé went head-to-head against Eusebio. And it was a delight to see the two best players in the world feature at the Maracanã, where Santos won 3-2, and then the return leg at the Stadium of Light in Lisbon, where Pelé scored a hat-trick, and Santos won 5-2. Now, this is really important because there's people say, well, Pelé never played in Europe, so how, you know, if he never played in Europe, how can he be the greatest? The reality is that the Brasileiro in the late 50s and early 60s was superior to any league in Europe, right? And that was proven by the fact that the South American champions, Santos, defeated the European champions, Benfica, right? So the claim that Pelé never played in Europe, so how can he be the greatest? I don't think is valid, all right? '62 World Cup, again, Brazil won. Pelé was hurt, but he played in a couple of games, but Brazil won. So it set the stage for 1966 in England, where the British were boasting football will be coming home. You know, there was great anticipation. The British won, all right, but Pelé was literally kicked out of the game through rough outsiders, aiming at his knee. Anyway, the Bulgarians became notorious for that. And then the Portuguese.
Why weren't any bookings or yellow cards issued?
Well, that didn't exist then.
What?
The only thing